Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
I rather would kind of tell a story about where that picture was taken. I don't know, maybe somebody can guess. Anyway.
North Pole?
Yes. It's like very down of the earth, yes, with a Latvian flag. It's a South Pole, quite a nice experience, journey. I have my own motto saying one thing leads to another one, and again about that I can tell stories how I got to the South Pole and the consequences that this actually has brought to my life as well. But yes, so first of all, congratulations everyone on Latvian Independence Day. It's coming in 1 week. That's why the flag. And the beauty of being down into the South Pole is that wherever you're taking a step, you're going up. So I really hope that's going to happen to Latvia in the future. And I honestly think we all can contribute. We just heard this great story from Glebs. I believe you all have some great stories. And this is my motivation why I also agreed to come and tell my story. Yes. So I'll start from the kind of a tip of the iceberg. Give you some facts. So first, in 2021, our company, Aleph Group, was acquired by a private equity fund with also fixed IRR. They bought out secondaries for 470 million. It was a life-changing event for majority of us shareholders. And together with them, we were heading to the IPO in New York Stock Exchange. But then we had a date. I had a suit prepared for the 10th of March in 2022. But then the war in Ukraine started, and everything obviously was postponed. And we filed a year ago after we filed that we are withdrawing from the IPO, so we're not going to do that, yes, because some circumstances changed, right? So was it good we didn't go to the IPO? Who knows? But the sense says maybe yes, because there are some other events that happened. But yes, but now just recently, like a couple of weeks ago, we also got announcement that we attracted Saudi Arabian media group's SMC investment, which is going to be also crucial, buying out some shares of the CVC, which is this private equity company. I don't know. I'm like when you tell me that I'm you're getting bored, I will switch to this Antarctic story. But anyway, this is the timeline of the company. Yes, my story started in 2015 when I have a couple of slides later. I'll have my CV, what I did in the past. But in 2015, me and my partners, we founded a digital media agency focused on performance marketing. And then we partnered with HTT Pool at that time. Basically, we did the share swap. They took our shares 100%, and we got some portion in their holding company. And with that, we started to do the business in this region. And a few years after, we were acquired by this company, IMS. That was backed up by Sony Pictures at that time. Obviously, that acquisition for us was not life-changing, as we had some other constraints. We had some cash flow issues to scale the business, and that's why we needed to have some investment. And around in 2020, we managed to receive a Meta agreement. Meta is a Facebook agreement to represent Facebook in some specific countries. And that was, again, life-changing event for us as a company as we scaled significantly to the extent that we attracted this CVC investment, large private equity company. And with that, we did some other acquisitions around. So obviously, our shares here was diluted, right? As the ones. But, it's kind of like a Latvian thing, is to own everything. Typically, yes, or maybe change the mindset and say, look, I'm going to own something smaller, but at the end of the day, maybe it will be bigger. So this is my part of the story. I was an entrepreneur, now I become a manager, looking for the ways to become an entrepreneur again, because I have the story that for me it's kind of hard to step out because I'm locked. There are still my shares, and I think it's a discussion we can have with a coffee afterwards. Yeah. So yes, if I can move on. Yes, so what we do, just in a nutshell, we represent all those platforms like Microsoft and Twitter, X now, and then Snapchats and TikToks and Googles and Reddits, Amazons, Spotifys and Twitch and Pinterest and many other platforms. We represent them by selling advertising, but we are not charging our clients. Those platforms are paying to us, yes. And why? If you can move on. Yes, why will follow. These are the clients we work with. I mean, obviously, we now, geographically, we are in underserved markets, right? We don't have the access to the same solutions or credit cards or, let's say, post-payment solutions and some other things which typically available in the United States and other larger markets, right? So this is why companies, traditional agencies with brand advertisers and performance clients, like e-commerce clients, they leverage the solutions that we are providing and we help them to grow. And kind of like our logic is following. If their business is successful, we're getting more revenues and we are more successful and then the platforms are successful, right? So yes, so these are typically those clients we work with. This is like idealistic customer profile, but of course we can help also some B2B companies. Just the scale for us is not the same. And if you move on, this is the answer of why we have these agreements is because, first of all, like majority of the GDP, world GDP, is concentrated in like G20 economies, right? So and as you can see, this is the actual results of advertising platforms for the past quarter, right? So Google and Meta dominates the ecosystem. So everyone else is trying to compete with them, right? So, and obviously they don't have the resources and energy to do it in all the markets around the world. So they focus on G7 mostly, yes? And I think that's something you can take for your business as well, like whatever field you are. Like everyone, like big players, they care about the big countries, and then there's, let's say, opportunity for you in smaller economies. Yes, and for the clients, it's, I mean, for the clients it's similar. Let's say if you are a typical B2C company and I don't know, selling e-commerce goods or digital goods to the United States or somewhere, you're typically using Meta advertising and Google. It's kind of typically it's like 70–80% of your ad spend, yes. So, and that's a challenge because once Meta is changing some algorithms or there are some restrictions coming in, your business is being affected and you're suffering. So what you want to do, you want to diversify, right? And typically, like, you don't have the resources. You don't have a specialist who is specialized in Reddit or in Pinterest or in, let's say, Microsoft, Bing, or Snapchat. You might have a Facebook specialist or maybe Google specialist, but everything else is typically generalists. And that's where we step in and help them to grow. Yes, so that's me. Very happy on the day when I was presenting Meta entering Baltics. That was in 2000, I said something, 2020, I guess, yes. So previously in my business, in my CV, I joined a company called Delphi in 2000 when internet didn't exist or it existed in some kind of form in the Latvia. And I spent there 13 years in Latvia and Ukraine, also worked for TV3. In parallel, I was a professional basketball referee for almost 20 years. EuroLeague, European Championships, I quitted in 2018. My last championship was European Championship when I was officiating Kristaps Porzingis, but that's in the past. And yes, nowadays I'm contributing to how do you call it, like charity, not charity. Yes, and helping some exporters association, Red Jackets as a board member, advisory board member for Riga Business School, council member for Latvian Basketball Association, so somewhere trying to help. So yes, and this is my startup investment portfolio. So just to explain, on the top, those are the funds. So Change Ventures, I guess you know. So I participated in some of their vintages. Then Bad Ideas Fund, which is just recently launched together with this Altum, whatever it's called. FJ Labs, that's kind of like part of the story going to Antarctica. As Fabrice Grinda, he's an entrepreneur who created one of the most successful startups in Europe. Just AXL, something OXL, that's classifieds, yes? So I don't know if you look like something like SS.com, but global, right? So, and then he exited and created his own fund. He lives in New York and so. And yes. And then accelerators, similar story. So I have a small participation in Startup Wise Guys, literally buying shares of the Startup Wise Guys, so I'm kind of like shareholder of that accelerator fund. The same is MVP Ventures, that's American-based. Both are great funds. Startup Wise Guys with an ambition to become Y Combinator of the Europe, while MVP also is focusing on those specific funds where the big accelerators are not going afterwards. And yes, and angel investments. So all of those are all are syndicates, right? Because typically I don't have a time to spend, to do the due diligence and decide on my own. And Dirk's been advising me on a few investments. I think we have some overlapping in portfolio here as well. Yeah, but yes, and I have one exit, small exit with like 2x or something, approximately, with room price Gini. Yes, and then yeah, I don't know, what can I comment? My strategy was spray and pray.
I actually wanted to ask that. What's like your strategy?
Besides some specific investments like Arnis and Origin, those are quite significant for me, like relative to the size of the whole portfolio. Those are like selected and thought through, but the rest, to be honest, like I have no idea what some of those brands mean. So yeah. And yes, startups give me adrenaline, but I'd like to do some more. So I have climbed some mountains, and yes, as we are sponsoring one F1 teams, and now I'm following the autosport. But that's it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions?
Yeah, questions. Actually, I had one question. In the timeline that you showed, it seemed that the group itself, the way it's trying to increase value is through acquisitions, correct? There's how many acquisitions a year happening? Because it seemed like pretty much quite a lot.
No, some, few, 2, 1.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Other questions from the audience? Yes, Gleb?
I like the phrase spray and pray strategy. How many of your investment opportunities have already failed?
If we speak about the startups, I just recently checked, all of them are still alive, yes. So
how many are zombies then? How many are zombies?
I don't know. Don't know. Haven't checked so closely. But I have, let's say, more risk-free investments that have failed, and like bonds in a very strange way, but unfortunately, yes. Yes. So, but,
what was your experience with venture funds?
venture funds.
Yeah, you had this CVC.
Yeah, it's private equity. I mean, the same, yes. Yeah, I mean, the similar experience. I mean, I cannot say anything bad about those guys because, they invested at the certain valuation that was, let's say, if you look today, it was 40 EBITDAs, right? Yes. And then, obviously, we had the ambition of the growth, and they had baked in this, IRR and etc. So this is a cost that we currently bearing, yes. So we already profited, let's say, in a nutshell, to say so. But of course, we want more, yes. Like we have a vision, and we have a vision how to bring the company to, let's say, to the next level. But this IRR, obviously, it's puts a pressure on us, yes. So this is why I have no idea what's happening with the startups, because my focus is a daily work, yes. So as I said, I have become a manager, yes. I'm managing the region. My region is half of the Europe, so that's where I'm kind of focused. And I mean yes. So like I mentioned, now this Saudi Arabian investment that's kind of prolongs our life cycle. It stops some certain things there. I'm not going to go into the details, but yes, I mean we're happy with the investors. We had the plans. Some plans didn't work out. But now we're kind of getting back on track, and this story is not closed. So this book is still being written.
Why did you decide to sell HTTP pool? You mentioned briefly it was mainly about cash flow.
Yeah, cash. Yes. Yeah, we were not. If we would take a loan in any bank, that would be your first preference. We were not able, so we had some debt as well. So, yeah, now I'm showing you the tip of the iceberg. Yes, but it's been quite a journey.
Have you considered any alternative financing other than bank loans?
What do you mean?
Well, I don't know, any venture debt or any types of debt?
No, look, so maybe one message that I can share, that I've been lucky in my life to meet people that somehow complement me and basically help to, let's say, explore the heights that maybe just alone would not be possible. Yes. So and that goes with the team, let's say, with the teams that I have managed to hire, and also with the partners that I have in my life. One of our founders of the HTT pool, he was a graduate from Berkeley in the United States. He spent a lot of time in the VC industry in London himself, right? Afterwards, he founded the, let's say, HTT pool in Slovenia, right? So, I mean, we were looking for many of the alternatives. There were business angel investments and etc. That we cleared, obviously with the CVC and IMS acquisition. We bought those, let's say, passive investors out. Yes. So, I mean, that was not just a bank, but it was and yes. So personal. So. Like first years, I didn't pay salary to myself because obviously it was not possible to do so. I was just combining with my other work. So.
As per your opinion, what is the most relevant marketing channel that not just give impressions but conversions?
That not impressions but conversions. What is the most relevant? Depends on the product. Google, I mean, Microsoft, Bing, Facebook. I mean, depends on the product. Depends on the CPA you're ready to pay. So. Yeah.
Max, you had a question?
I had a personal one. How hard was it to combine judging FIBA and full career, and why did you stop?
I don't know. Somehow I did it. So I was poor referee and poor manager at that time. So that's like the trade-off. Or let's say I'm downplaying it. That still, if you would be just focusing on one. The problem, that's a different conversation. That's private.
Any other questions?
Yeah, a question. I remember you telling that I don't remember, in 21, 22 you lost the Meta contract and you were left with non-Meta purchases. and it is quite a common also issue for many startups that they go for one strategy, one business model, and then they have to switch it to something else. How did you overturn it, and how did you set the priorities to work with different markets, with different partners? And if I understood it right, then you have LatBAN at the moment, or don't you?
No.
No. So how did you switch to the other words?
So first of all, our strategy from day one was without Meta. So I mean, the slide, like similar slide I was showing, I was going around the market and say, look, you need to diversify. You don't, those two bad guys, Google and Meta, that's a separate story. We offer you the diversification strategy. So this was like baked in for from day one. It just happened. We got Meta. We didn't expect it. It was just happened, right? And we never thought we will represent Google. Now we represent Google in 36 markets, right? So, I mean, that's one story. And the second story is, I mean, we always had dedicated teams for all those niche platforms. And yes, they're not maybe relevant in all of the countries, but in some countries they are. I think we are now represented in 130, yes, no? Approximately 147, 130 countries across the world. So, it's like, yeah, it's pretty diversified now. Yes, and the strategy is just to focus on one channel. Yes.
Actually, I wanted to ask, quite recently you got also the partnership with TikTok, am I correct?
Some few years ago, yes.
Some years, okay, sorry. But in Latvia?
Yes, in Latvia the targeting became available, I think, in last year.
Okay, but do you have like a ideal customer profile that you focus on? Because are these like also just a B2C type of companies, or let's say smaller niche that retail also can access?
I picked some words that would ring a bell, like Printify here. Right? So I mean, we work with Printify. They're not so big in let's say on our channels because they are mostly focused on B2B, right? But if you take Bolts and Volts, we do. I mean, Volt is one of our largest customers in Nordics. They focused on Japanese market where X platform Twitter is rather big. Supercell, I don't know if you see here Supercell, but anyway, Supercell, yes, so it's like those Brawl Star games, and all your kids are playing them, right? So we do Snapchat for them at massive scale, right? So, and that's, straight from Helsinki. So I mean, like there are some specific advertisers that perform on specific verticals, like Kilo as well on Pinterest, yes, and et cetera, et cetera. So B2C is where the biggest fit is, because we can bring the most of the value to them and also the scale. On Microsoft, sure, we can help B2B companies because Bing is commonly used in the United States, and like if you buy a new computer, like the Bing is like default browser, and that's, yeah.
Okay. Any other questions from the audience? If no, then thank you very much.
Thank you.